Stick around, because in this video I got some tips and tricks for the active duty Army life. What's up, friends? Welcome to an all new video. In this one I got some tips and tricks that I've collected up from being active duty Army and things that I've done that might help some of you out that are maybe looking to go active duty, maybe currently active duty. And that's kind of the key thing. My experience with active duty, this tips and tricks may not apply to people in reserves or National Guard. Now, since you're already here, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, enable notifications if you haven't already though. And let's talk about some tips and tricks for active duty Army life. The first one that I've got here is probably one of the most important things when you're in the Army, and that is show up early to wherever it is that you're supposed to be. In the Army, you have this thing of where everybody tells you that you have to be 10 minutes prior to something. Now, sometimes that usually means being 10 minutes prior to being 10 minutes prior, but in the long run, it's just important to be early to something. One of the key things I used to always kind of, go off of, and a lot of other people will do this too, is that there's no such thing as being on time in the Army. Either you're early or you're late. So that's kind of the mentality you kind of have to keep in mind when you're kind of thinking about, hey, I have to be somewhere at 9 o'clock. Well, okay, I should probably be there by maybe 8:40 or something like that. And that kind of plays into some of the next two tips that I have as well. The first one mainly being focused for soldiers that are living in the barracks, and that is maybe to save a little bit of time, sleep in your PTs. Now, obviously, wear clean PTs, that you're sleeping in, but this gives you a couple of extra minutes in the morning when you're getting ready and you're heading out the door to get to PT formation. If you're already in your PTs, that's just one less thing you have to do. For some people, this might not be a great tip. Maybe it's not comfortable to sleep in your PTs or whatever the case might be, but this was something I used to do when I was in the Army living in the barracks. So then when my alarm went off, all I had to do was get up, throw my shoes on, maybe shave, brush my teeth or whatever, head out the door, and those were a couple extra minutes I got to sleep in. Especially like when your barracks are right near the area of where you're doing PT formation, maybe you can, sleep in until like 6:10 or something like that, and then get up and be outside in formation before, 6:30, maybe getting there by like, 6:20, 6:15. You could probably still apply this to someone who lives off base, maybe sleeping in your PTs. I don't know if your spouse maybe not like that. I don't know, it might be kind of weird to them, but it could be something you could potentially use to save on time by sleeping in your PTs. Clean PTs, by the way. And then simply just get up and do whatever else you have to do and then head out the door. Does it save you a lot of time? Probably not. It only saves you maybe a few minutes, but sometimes those few minutes are really great to get that much extra sleep. Now, for those individuals that do live off post, then I highly recommend leaving for PT early. You might be thinking, okay, I know that it takes 20 minutes to get to where I need to get to for PT in the morning. So commonly, PT is at 6:30 in the morning. So that means I can leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll still get there by 6:20. And not necessarily the case. It is really, really busy a lot of times at the gates trying to get on post around that time, because there is a crap ton of people trying to get on base at the same time you are to get to PT formation. One trick I would do, may not be quite, the thing to do for some people, but I would leave really early. I would try to get to where it was that we had PT formation by about 5:30 or so. And then I'd actually take a little bit of a nap in the car. I'd set my alarm on my phone or whatever for, about 6:15, and then I'd get up and head out to formation. But that could be something you do. You leave super early, beat all the traffic, get to wherever it is PT formation is at really early, hang out in your car, take a quick little nap if you want to or whatever, and then you're there on time for sure, hopefully. Because if you try to push it to the last few minutes, you're gonna find the gate's probably really backed up, and it's gonna take you a little bit of time to get through that line and get through the gate and get to PT formation. Another good tip really only applies to the male soldiers, but keeping an extra emergency razor or electric shaver in the vehicle or somewhere nearby that you can easily access. I've had at times where, you're super busy, you're in a rush trying to hurry up and get to work, get to formation, whatever it was, and forget to shave or just didn't have time to do so. And having that maybe in the car, for example, can sometimes help you out. You can quickly, shave on your way, maybe shave in the parking lot, whatever it is you're doing, or even in some situations where maybe you missed a spot or something like that, you can quickly just go and take care of that inside the vehicle. So it's a good thing to have that emergency razor or even electric razor, maybe in a glove box or something, so that way you can easily access that if you did happen to notice you missed a spot or you just were really short on time. Kind of similar to that, maybe more towards the female side of things, is maybe having extra like bobby pins or hair ties or something you need to manage your hair either in the vehicle or on you. Because there might be times where you're doing some work and something happens. Maybe you lose a bobby pin, maybe you break a hair tie. I don't know, feminine type of stuff with hair, how these kind of things work, but these things do happen, and sometimes you need to have some kind of backup, something to be able to take care of your hair, to keep it up and out of the way for, Army regulations, to keep your hair, in accordance with that. And so if something happens, like bobby pins falling out, hair ties breaking, whatever the case is, you have something to go to for a backup to take care of your hair so you can stay within Army regulations. So a thing that maybe some people already do, maybe never even thought about, it may just kind of vary from person to person, but memorize your social security number, especially like your last four. There is a lot of times where you're gonna be like writing down your social, or they need to know your last four, or maybe they're just referring to you as your last four of your social security number. The last four is probably the more common one that you're using a lot. There's times when they have like a roster, and if they don't know how to pronounce your name, sometimes they'll just, say off your last four. So it's definitely a good idea if you don't already have your social security number memorized, then make sure you do so. So one last tip that I'll kind of give in this video, and that is work out on your own time outside of just the normal PT in the mornings. PT is great and all, and this one will really vary from person to person, unit to unit, and all that kind of stuff. Some people, just doing PT in the mornings is great and keeps you in great shape. Some units are really, really kind of crazy with PT, and you're doing some really strenuous stuff. Other units, maybe they're light on it, or you have like intense days and light days, and some days they're just not very consistent on really be either really active in PT, or sometimes they're just really chill. But usually you want to take a little bit of time to do some extra physical fitness on your own. Sometimes just doing PT in the mornings isn't enough to really excel on the PT standards, to stay in great physical shape, to meet whatever physical fitness test is currently going on, whether it's the push-up, sit-up, and 2-mile run, or the ACFT. It's good to do some extra PT on your own. Going to the gym, doing something in your barracks room, doing something at the house maybe. Something to just do a little extra than just what you're doing for PT. Like I said, this one will really vary probably from person to person, unit to unit. There might be some units out there that are really crazy with physical fitness, and you're getting an extreme workout and you're keeping in great shape and you're doing great on the Army Combat Fitness Test or the PT test or whatever, and you don't need to do anything extra. And then there's some units where you just get some NCOs that are pretty hardcore, that work the hell out of you, and then other NCOs that are pretty light and you're not getting much of a workout. So that's really going to vary from person to person, unit to unit, but in the long run, it is usually still a good idea to spend a little extra time going to the gym, doing something else other than just what you're doing at PT. That's going to do it for this video. For those of you that are currently in the Army, or maybe some veterans, leave some tips that might help out some other soldiers down in the comment section, if you will, please. If you want, check out some recommended videos right over there. Links are down in the description for Patreon, social media, all that fun stuff. I'm ThatChrisChaos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya.